Hello everyone, welcome back to my 2024 Little Big Year. I'm trying to document as many species as possible during the year here on my home patch in eastern Massachusetts and show them to you in some YouTube videos. And my goal for the end of the year is to have 125 species. So it's mid-April now, and over the last 2 weeks the weather has been not so good with a lot of rain and high wind. But today's a beautiful day and the migrants are trickling in. We can expect more and more migrants to show up until we reach the peak of spring migration, which here in this area is usually early to mid-May. So the count right now for the year stands at 41 species as of the end of the last video. So let's get started with adding some new birds. Okay, so let's get started with this fox sparrow, which is actually a pretty uncommon migrant in Massachusetts. They have a restricted migration at the end of March and very early in April, so I was happy to get this one on video. I was also really happy that it's singing in this video. I really love to hear bird song and to capture bird song whenever I can. I'm a better ear birder than I am an eye birder, and so bird song is really important to me. Next up is a really exciting bird, or it was certainly exciting for me, which is this yellow-crowned night heron. That's a very uncommon, I would even say rare bird in Massachusetts, particularly in this area locally here. In fact, and this is only the second eBird record all time here on my home patch at Horn Pond, and I did not see the first one, so this is a new sight bird for me, which is always exciting. So this bird showed up. It was not found by me. It was found by a friend of mine, and he alerted it to me. I was at work at the time, and I had just enough time to make a cannonball run down to my home patch on my lunch hour, see the bird, and then get back to work for my meeting. So it worked out well. So great bird to get on the list. Okay, next up is this immature bald eagle. Bald eagles have become increasingly common in Massachusetts and in many places in the country after almost going extinct in the 1970s. So it's been a great comeback story for them, and it's now a regular here and always a crowd favorite. They have a tendency to perch in the trees along a path where a lot of people who don't usually look at birds will see them and get excited. So it's kind of a nice public relations bird. So as I said, this is an immature eagle. Eagles take about 4 years to gain their familiar adult plumage with an all-white head. So I would estimate that this one is somewhere between 1 and 2 years old based on the amount of white that it has in its plumage. So I'm also going to throw up a picture that I took at the end of 2023 showing 2 adult bald eagles next to each other, and that's a mated pair. And that very likely could be the parents of the immature eagle that I just showed you. Song sparrows are the most common sparrow overall at Horn Pond and are present year-round except in severe winters. Common grackles are one of the most common birds in Massachusetts, and they have kind of a bad reputation. They're one of those birds that you really don't like to have at your bird feeder because they eat all the seed. But as you can see in this video, they're actually pretty good looking birds with the blue and purple iridescent colors and their bright yellow eye. They seem to show up a little bit better on slightly overcast days like this one. So this area here is what we call Horn Pond Mountain. As you can see, it's not really much of a mountain, it's really more of a big hill. But it does have this nice big open area here on the side of it with low vegetation, and it really makes a great spot for a lot of species of birds that we wouldn't otherwise see to take up residence here. So we have breeding field sparrows, indigo buntings, prairie warblers, and other really cool birds that generally nest here on the side of the mountain. And as well, this open area here is really a great spot to see perched raptors and also flying raptors overhead, because you can see a lot of the sky here. So this is a really nice area to have as part of the home patch here, in addition to all the ponds and wet areas that we have. Red-tailed hawks can almost always be found in this area, perched on one of the power line towers or flying around. This is a breeding pair that's setting up a nest somewhere nearby. Field sparrows have just arrived back on their territory, and it's great to hear their song again. And then also, this American kestrel spent a few days hanging out on the side of Horn Pond Mountain, and I was able to photograph it from a distance. I hadn't seen one on my home patch for a few years, so this was a great one to see. Tufted titmouse is a common year-round bird here. It's one of the birds that will land on your hand to take seed, especially in the wintertime when they're hungry. Eastern towhees are fairly common here at Horn Pond, but they can be difficult to photograph, so I was really quite happy to catch this one out on an open perch and get this nice footage of it. I would have to say that mallards are the single most common and easy to see bird on my home patch, so it's probably a little bit overdue to be added to the little big year list here in episode 4. And the last new bird for this episode is this osprey, which I was able to get some still photos of as it was flying overhead. Ospreys are actually quite common here at Horn Pond in the spring and in the fall, so I'll have some other opportunities to hopefully get some video of them before the end of the year. So the little big year total is now up over 50 species, which is making some progress at least. I'm going to keep plugging away with my camera, and I'll be back soon with another episode. If you're enjoying this content, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.